I don't know.
No, I don't want to hear someone else's poetic
Right.
verse about a random person that they wrote about for money. Like, I want to know what you personally have to say. I'd rather get a blank card.
Do you think most girls are like that? Most girls think the same way?
Yes.
The millennial generation is as follows.
Welcome to
Surrounded by idiots.
Radio Podcast.
Well, I like to consider this an oasis of sensibility or an oasis of rationality or something along those lines. So this is the Surrounded by Idiots radio podcast. We are really surrounded by idiots, especially at this point in history. That's what I feel, at least. So welcome. Today, our very special Voice of Millennial, Mariah. Hey, Mariah, how's it going?
Going great, Tony.
Good
to be back.
Good to have you back. And so I'm going to, this week, I'm going to pick your brain about something that it's a little self-serving because we're going to talk about gifts, and we're talking about how to give the perfect gift, being the holiday season now. If you're listening to this, because this is evergreen, which they call in the business, they call something that's online forever, and you can listen to it at any time during the year. But at this point in time, we are actually a couple weeks out from Christmas, and so we're right in the middle of the holiday season. And this is something that comes up every single year, and usually, it's because some guy totally fucked something up and gave a horrific gift. And so this is a very not just self-serving show, but something that for the guys might be extremely important to digest.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
Would you? Would you think? So the interesting part about the show today, I think, is going to be our personal shared stories on our best gifts, our worst gifts, and maybe our gifts that were pretty good but were just terrible timing. Because that's a thing,
So
and we're going to talk
excited,
about
Tony.
that, right?
Just so excited.
and I wholly expect for you to not hold back, and if you need to throw Chris under the bus, please do.
Oh, and you know I will.
Because really it comes down to the entertainment for the listeners and the viewers.
Exactly.
Because we are on video, so if you guys want to watch video, hey, we're going to be posting this on javabud.com. The video of the podcast will be up there. So let's get the ball rolling. So for the record, I'm not a gift guy. I'm not if you go to the love languages, which as cheesy as they may seem, I think there's something to those. And I buy into the love language thing. And I think that's a pretty brilliant book, actually. I am a acts of service person. That's my love language. And so gifts really don't – gifts on a whole. I mean, I'm being overgeneralizing. I'm not really into them. I mean, I don't really care if I get them or not. I'm trying to get our family Christmas to where we don't do gifts, but everybody's just calling me a full-on Scrooge, and I'm getting voted down every year. I get voted down. Well, it's because my mom is full-on love language gifts. So forget it. She's a matriarch of the family. It ain't going to change. But
Nope.
But again, I come in and I mess things up and people get pissed. Hey, it's the usual family gathering. You know,
I mean, it wouldn't be fun if that didn't happen.
And people would be shocked if I went in and actually just followed everybody and everything worked out well. So
right, of course.
Just saying. Exactly.
Can't disappoint.
Right, that's what I keep saying. So let's go over the perfect gift. Now the first thing I want to talk about, even though I'm not a gift guy, this goes further than just the gifts. It goes into what it means, and it goes into, and it really goes into what a gift is. And what a gift is not just buying something. It's not a material thing. It's not an exchange of a material object with somebody. It is really an expression of how much you care for them, how much you pay attention to them, and how much you want them to understand how much you want to be in their life is what it comes down to. So the perfect gift, I always say, now, and correct me if you have a differing opinion to this, Mariah, because we haven't talked about this prior to the show because I wanted this to be fresh so I could get your off-the-cuff opinion as we go along, right? So, and I'm sure you'll throw it out there. So the perfect gift to me, it lives in the past. The perfect gift to me, it's from It's from listening, and specifically, I'm thinking about past girlfriends and relationships, and keep that in your mind when you listen to me explaining this. It's about our past talks and our past conversations, and listening to when her voice lights up about something that happened in her past, or something about something that means something to her, or like back when I used to read the Golden Books when I was a kid, and they were such great memories to me. Well, how cool would it be to go out and get a couple of the Golden Books? They're like what, $3 a piece or something. So I think a good gift lives in the past.
I 100% agree with you there, because we have so much of our happiness wrapped up in this nostalgia, right? Of like good things that have happened in our lives, or that have shaped who we've become in some way or another. So when they kind of tag on to whatever gift we're getting, it's like kind of magical, right? You feel like
Absolutely.
a kid again. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's and it's one of those things where you weren't with them back then. Right. So when they talk about something, they talk about a really good experience that they've had, and you weren't there, but the fact that you gave them something that reminded them of that, whether it was specific to that or something that was an identifier or was an object that relates to that, means a lot, does it not?
It means a ton, because it's somebody else taking interest in something that means something to you, even though they can't personally relate in any way, shape, or form.
Exactly.
They want to understand you on that level.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I think it just shows. It's like anything. The one thing that people want more than anything from the person that they're with is somebody that wants to understand them, and they can hear them when they not just listen, but they can actually hear them. Yes. And they understand. So I think that's important. So it has to be personal. I think a perfect gift has to be personal. I don't think. I'm not big on the big extravagant stuff, because I'm not a material person, and I think it's complete bullshit. And really, that's an ego thing, because you're trying to either give a better gift than Bob gave his wife down the street, or you're trying to give a bigger gift than you did the year before, or you're trying to outdo yourself, or you're trying to – I don't know. Who are you trying to impress? Nobody cares.
Gross.
Nobody cares. But I think it has to be personal. And I think it's better if it's unexpected. So so if it's an unexpected thing, because somebody will have their list and I need pajamas and I need a toaster and I need all this stuff. But if it's something based upon what you heard them say a while ago, like when they were with their grandmother, they used to I don't know, sit and knit something or whatever the case, but they haven't done it for so long, and then you actually go out there and get them like some knitting stuff or something that reminds them of that, or that's they totally don't expect it,
right? But
it has such a personal touch to it. I think it's even better if it's something that you have that they have no idea exists. They have no idea exists, but you find, and this goes into, and I was Mariah and I are going to go over our best gifts and worst gifts and stuff that we've ever given. This is going to go into the best gift I ever gave in my entire life to somebody, and I've already talked about this like 8 times on the show, but because it was one of those times in my life, and it was a past girlfriend that I had. And it was a time in her life when things just sort of meshed up so well that it was like it just kind of rolled into this, and I really didn't even think about it. It just automatically came to me. But we were talking. This is a few years ago when I was seeing this girl, and we were talking, and we were heading over to something, and she was just kind of chit chatting about, and it was foggy, and we were in the car, and she said, "Oh yeah, fog," and she goes, "I was, when I was a little girl, I used to think that clouds were a thing and like big furry animals, and I could just go up there and grab them and hug them. I just wanted to hug the clouds." And she said, one day, the fog was there, and I tried to hug. You can't hug the fog, and then my dad said, you can't hug those. You can't, and it was like devastating to her because she always thought that she could hug clouds. And so right at that moment, and it was probably, I'm trying to think, it was before the holidays. It was probably about 2 months before her birthday was in December, and then Christmas later on. So I thought right then and there, it'd be a perfect gift. I'm going to get somebody to make her a stuffed cloud.
I love that.
Isn't that great? So
that's so good.
Yeah, so I made her a stuffed cloud, and then I put, it was a Christmas present. Actually, it wasn't a birthday present. So then I put Merry Christmas. This is, I put her name and her huggable cloud, and it totally made her entire. In fact, to this day, she says it's the best gift she's ever gotten.
That's amazing.
And that's one of those examples of it never existed prior to me created it. But that's something that just shows your level of not necessarily commitment, but your level of wanting to be a part of somebody, wanting to make their life special in some way. But that goes into how deep emotionally you want to go with the gift. Now, I want to hear your thoughts on this, because this is something that, and I know you girls come up against this a lot, and I think in certain circumstances, a lot of guys don't realize that they just don't get it, and they'll give stupid, ridiculous gifts that have no emotional depth to them. If a guy knows what he's doing, then he'll be able to make or be able to give a gift at an emotional level that he wants to hit. Now, when I gave the cloud, I wanted to hit a deep emotional level. And sometimes you don't. You just want to hit a cute level, I like to call it.
Right.
Whereas if it's a new relationship, or if you're dating, and you just don't know yet, then you want to make something funny or quirky or weird based upon maybe a similar story that you guys have a laugh over or something. So have you ever had a situation to where the gift has been so emotionally shallow and so devastating, even though you don't expect a gift, but still, it's one of those things where
of course I have, Tony.
Yeah, I know.
Of course I have.
Because you're a girl. Exactly.
Because I'm a girl. Yeah.
Now, again, for the record, realize that most guys don't get it. They just don't. They don't get any of this stuff.
Don't.
But it's that whole thing. It's that whole thing about giving a vacuum cleaner for Mother's Day or something. You're like, oh my God, dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't do that. By the way, just don't. So it's not that terrible, but in the moment it was incredibly devastating. The boy that I had been dating in college for about 2 years, and we had dated in high school as well, on again, off again, got me for my birthday, was so excited about it, kept telling me he got me the best birthday gift ever.
Oh no, so he built it up.
He built it up.
Terrible idea.
It was concert tickets to see his favorite band.
Oh God.
That I never listened to. And then the actual day of the concert, he had me drive, and then got so stoned at the concert that he couldn't drive us back at 1 a.m. And I had to do that 2 hours away.
Sounds like the trifecta.
And I was just like, cool, like, I'm a nice person. I was way nicer before you met me, Tony, and way more of a pushover. And I'm like, oh, that's so thank you so much. That is so nice. And inside I was like, literally have zero desire to see this group. And you just made it sound like this was the best gift of all time.
Which, fail. Right. For the record, even if it is the best gift of all time, don't oversell it. Do not in anything in life. No, let's just blanket statement this. In anything in life, do not oversell. Undersell and overdeliver. Undersell and overdeliver.
You know who is amazing at that? My husband.
He is.
Every gift, don't get excited. It's nothing big, and then I'll be like weeping about it. So
yeah, I call Chris a closet genius. I think he comes across as this, hey, how's it going? Good, yeah, and then he pulls shit like
totally
this.
So. Yeah, for sure.
There's other things happening in his head.
Yes,
there.
That's good to know.
That is. So I want to another part about giving the good gift, the perfect gift, is understanding the taste and presentation. I think is important too, because it depends. Some people are okay with just giving gifts in a paper bag. Some people, I used to wrap gifts because I'm weird. I used to put them in, tin cans, and I would wrap them with shopping paper, shopping cart, shopping bags paper. I would put them in like Pringles cans. I would do weird stuff like that. Now to people that have a sense of humor, that would be something that would work. For others who do not, or for others who actually have an expectation of being in a nice package with a bow, and it's it's present, and you've got to know what the other person expectations are, and the way you know that is by watching what they do. It's like the love language. They
have to, yes,
right? They're gonna want what you now. What do you do typically? Do you what do you like in terms of that?
In terms of when I receive something? Are you a pretty
Are you when you receive something? Are you kind of a no nonsense gal or?
Yes, so I am 100% not materialistic. I could give a rip less about presentation. I am 100% about the emotional connection to the gift and knowing you understand me and listen to me. 100%. And I love cards, so I know we're going to talk about that later.
Okay.
But yes, I don't care if you hand me something in a shopping bag as long as there's something inside shows that.
Okay. So it really doesn't matter if there's like 3 different layers of different color tissue paper, the seams are the paper that you have to match up the picture so the picture looks the same where they match up, where they come together.
Yes, I do.
See, I know somebody, I'm not going to say who in my family, that actually looks at that. I'm like, so I purposely completely fuck it up just so it comes out terrible. So, but now she realizes it, and because she knows that we are related by quite a lot of DNA, and we are completely opposite. Completely. So I always try to. I once I gave her for a card. Once I gave her a Mexican card written in Spanish.
Perfect.
I did not know what it said. All I knew is it said Feliz Cumpleaños. Isn't that happy birthday?
Yeah,
okay. That's all.
That's
and then
good.
there was a lot of words inside. And I don't know what it said, but it was something having to do with birthday, and probably
Right.
And she got all I like is the smirk that I get when she opens it up and sees it. So I'm really being totally selfish, I guess, is what it comes down to.
You know what? It's all right.
Okay, self-realization just now.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So you also want to, another thing that I think is an important thing about the perfect gift is, and it doesn't have to be because you can't do this with everything, but I think making something by hand is really, really cool.
Amazingly cool. Yeah. If you can do it, yes. Whatever you can do by hand, I love that.
And it doesn't have to be Picasso, or it doesn't have to be something that's put together like an engineer. I mean, it just has to be something that's, fun and cool, and it's just which includes cards. Now, this rolls me into the card thing, because how am I going to tee this up? So cards overall, I feel as though, I don't know. They're already written. You find them. They're kind of funny. I usually get funny ones and ridiculous ones, and that's fine. But I'm not a big fan of cards unless you make it yourself. Mm-hmm. So, like, cards are great. Now, what are your thoughts on cards? And, like, cards not as a standalone gift, because a lot of times if you make your card, then it's a standalone gift that you're expressing how you love this person or something. But cards with a gift. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on these cards?
I think it depends. So, like, if someone was giving me a Christmas gift, or just a run of the mill, like, congrats on the job promotion gift, whatever. I don't necessarily need a card, but I do love, I think for bigger occasions from the people you love, like for me, for my birthday or anniversary with Chris, I don't even need a card. I literally could take somebody writing on a Post-it note how they feel. And I think that's only because my love language is words of affirmation and also time spent. And so I feel like Chris, who is not like the most emotionally expressive human, much as I love him, he doesn't often verbalize all of the things he feels. And so when he writes them down, he's a really good writer. And I wait for those occasions because he's more of an acts of service person. So that's sort of how which I appreciate and I love and I understand. But I love hearing words.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't hear them often, to see them written is like the same thing to me.
Does it matter?
I wait for it.
Okay, so does it matter if it's written by the person who wrote the card or written by Chris?
It matters if it's written by Chris. I don't give a crap who wrote the card. It can be in a letter. Okay,
because if you get a card, there are some cards in there that are very, very well written. I mean, the ones that are deep and I forgot the type. They're sort of like pastel. Looks like watercolors.
Seen them, yes.
They're amazing. They're like poetry.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just buy a card like that, say, or somebody does, and they just put, love Bob on the bottom of that. Right? I mean, doesn't it lose? Isn't that a little, I don't know.
No, I don't want to hear someone else's poetic words about a random person that they wrote about for money. Like, I want to know what you personally have to say. I'd rather get a blank card.
Do you think most girls are like that? Most girls think the same way?
Yes.
Wait,
100%.
I want you to just take a few minutes, sit down, just kind of think about this a little more because it seems like you're very indecisive on this answer. Do you? I'll ask again. Now that you've thought about it, do you think most girls think that way?
Yes, I do, Tony. Without hesitation.
Why? Yes. Oh God. It's such a terrible travesty to be in a situation where it's an emotionally charged situation, and you're sitting there. Both you guys are sitting there, probably Indian style, with a crackling fire going on and a couple of glasses of wine happening, and she's sitting there.
Amazing.
Right? And she's sitting there, and she's opening up this card, and it's like one of these really well-written cards, and then you just have your fucking name at the end written, just not even written well, just, Johnny.
Bob. John.
Yes. Then how does that, how much does that just, how much does that impact the moment? Is that, do you have to fight through that? I mean.
Yes. A little bit, all right, a little bit, but it depends. So if that's the card but whatever, Bob, John, whoever. But then the gift itself is very meaningful, or there's something else meaningful in the moment, it could be overlooked. But if it's a card - Bob,
right,
and then you hand me like a can of Pringles,
right?
No, Bob, no.
Are they the sour cream and onion Pringles?
I do love those.
Okay, well, I'm just saying. It
wouldn't suck if it was the Pringles and something else.
Right. I'm saying you bet. I say be more specific in this situation. Lives are on the line here, Mariah.
I know.
Yeah.
Lives are on the line.
Right. So I want you to share I shared one of my best gifts, but I would like for you to share one of your best gifts you've ever given.
That I've ever given.
Yes.
Ooh. So actually it was recent, and I'm really excited about this one. Actually, can I pick two?
You can.
Okay, thank you. I know that wasn't really part of the rules.
No, I think we're flexible here.
We're flexible. Okay, thank God. So, the first one that I love is Chris always told me that one of his bucket list items, we were big on making bucket lists when we were first dating, was that he wanted one of his photographs put on display somewhere for the public. Like, it was just a cool dream of his that like people would recognize his artwork in a public location, not just like in his bedroom, right? So we had just started dating, and we hadn't just started dating. We'd been dating for a year, and I moved in with him in Indiana, and I threw him a surprise birthday party, and I found out that his alma mater, which if you don't know anything about Chris, he is obsessed with Butler University.
Go Butler Bulldogs, right?
Go Butler.
I got it.
I know.
Tony.
Oh,
okay.
I know.
You could be around the guy for 3 minutes, and you would know.
3 minutes. Mm-hmm. I mean, in order of priorities in life, it is Butler, Logan, Mariah / Mason right here.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Mason is a dog, by the way.
Mason is a dog, but I'm pretty sure she and I are equal, given the way he treats her. Okay, so I found out they were having this as part of homecoming. They were doing an alumni art exhibit.
Oh.
And I emailed, because I'm clever. So I emailed the person in charge of the alumni art exhibit, and I gave the whole spiel, the bucket list, blah, 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 sent some photos. They chose one that they loved, and I had it framed and displayed and put on this, beautiful wall in this art museum, and all these people were in there looking. We got a picture by it, and he was so excited, so I gave him the letter.
Super kick-ass. Oh.
Super kick-ass. Check it off the bucket list.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that was pretty sweet. So I was proud of that one. The second one I was super proud of just happened this past birthday. So again, Butler is our theme. So the old Butler coach is now the coach of the Celtics. And as you know, yes, we live in Boston, Massachusetts. So look at that.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the star players from the Butler team, Gordon Hayward, was recently drafted over to the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
So I got clever, and I emailed the athletic director at Butler and gave the whole story about how Chris was a D1 tennis player. He bleeds Butler blue. He loves these Bulldogs, and how he made this amazingly sacrificial move to Boston so I could be happy and be near my family, and blah, blah, blah. And, oh, by the way, do you happen to have Coach Stevens' contact information? I ended up getting said contact information, emailing with the wife, and scored him a seat at the Celtics, which was rather amazing.
Nice.
Like a few rows up from the floor. So
wow.
That was pretty cool.
That's pretty sweet. See, that's what I mean. Cool. Those are kick-ass gifts.
I was pretty pumped.
Yeah, I'm sure you should be. Yeah, those are pretty.
I think it was more fun to give those gifts than
but isn't it always? I mean, I don't know. Is it me, or is it? I so much rather like to give gifts than to get them. I mean, I don't. I'm not a big. I don't really care if I get them or not. I really don't. But to give them is really cool. So I don't know. Am I being hypocritical with that, or?
No. I think it's awesome. I feel the same way. I love it.
All right. So have you ever given a gift that was amazing, that you thought was amazing, but it was just bad timing and it just landed with a thud?
Sure I have. Yes. So let me see. I'm trying to pick which one. Yeah. So my boyfriend post-college. So I was living in Boston at the time. This was pre-Chris. We had been dating a couple months, and I went to his house at like 4 a.m. He lived 2 hours away, and I knew I had to be at work at whatever time. I can't remember, in Maine, and he was in New Hampshire. So I drove to his house at 4 a.m. so I'd get there in time. I completely banded it his car, put hearts all over it. I had a mixed CD that I put in his dash. His parents gave me the keys to the car. I made homemade conversational heart cookies. I mean, the whole 9 yards. It was out of control. Woke him up. He was hungover. He was always hungover because he's a fucking drunk. And he was like so disoriented. Why are you in my bedroom right now? Like, I smell terrible and I'm drunk. Anyway. And I want to say he was like scrambling around like, oh, your birthday gift somewhere. I'll bring it up to you. Or not your birthday gift. Your Valentine's gift somewhere. And I'll bring it up to you this weekend when I see you. And he did. And it was okay. But I think we broke up like the next month. Oh. And I feel his complaint, which led me to break up with him, was that I wasn't bitchy enough. And I wasn't.
Whoa, huh? That was the reason why he broke up with you, because you weren't bitchy enough?
Yeah. You're a little too sweet and a little too, like, girl next door. And you're not, like, bitchy and sassy. So, probably shouldn't have driven 2 hours to surprise him.
Wow. Yeah. Well.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Well, clearly he has issues to deal with himself, and he doesn't feel as though he deserves somebody that can treat him nice. But that, I mean, how many times? How many times does that happen? So actually, mine's kind of along the same lines. I was going out with this girl. She was, let's say, a little younger than me,
Okay.
And
give or take a few.
Yeah, well, a little. And we were going out for a little bit, just a little bit. But then that was around February, so that godforsaken fucking Valentine's Day, which
goddamn Valentine's Day,
I think should be abolished completely, completely abolished. Having to force people to like confess their whatevers on one particular day and to buy fucking cards for it is just okay. I'm not gonna go off on it. So. See how fast I go off on that Valentine's Day? It's
You're just passionate about it.
God,
it's okay.
This is bullshit. So anyway, so it's there, and I know that she has a thing for it. I mean, it's not like a obsession with it, but there's something there. And I thought, you know what would be cool in this circumstance would be to just kind of make her a card. So because, you know, again, as I've said before, I walk the walk. I like making cards. I don't like buying those stupid cards, but I like making cards. So I like make it. So I made it goofy. I made it, you know, with like macaroni and put, you know,
that's cute.
put like glitter in there. And I didn't put, you know, confess my undying love. I mean, we've only been, you know, we were only seeing each other for a month, maybe 6 weeks, maybe. So yeah, it was a great gift, but with her and with where we're at and with her emotional maturity at the time. I did mention she was a little younger than me. Yeah, it completely shut her down. Completely. So it was, let's just say it was not...
Like she slowly backed away.
No, she didn't slowly back away.
She ran for the hills.
She literally dropped the card and ran for her life like a
puff of
lion was chasing after her.
No.
Yeah, so...
Oh,
you know,
bummer.
now, for the record... Afterwards, and we were friends, and she's not around here anymore. We don't talk anymore. But after that, we were still friends and stuff, and we did talk it out. And she just wasn't ready for that, and it super duper overwhelmed her. And because I went too deep emotionally.
Yeah.
Even though I tried not to, I tried to be surface goofy funny, but just for the fact that I made something was way more than what she ever had before, but from anybody else. Again, that's the other thing about trying to understand or having an idea of where the other person is at is super important.
Yes.
Because it's not about where you're at, it's about where they're at. So that was my bad gift. Just epic failure in a gift was when I was young and super stupid and didn't know practically anything and was just pretty much just dating. It's always the just dating part, and then you don't know. And I wanted to show off, and I got her this really expensive watch. Like, really expensive watch. And, you know, and this is back in the day when I was probably bartending or serving. I wasn't making, I was making decent money, but I wasn't making a lot of money. And I spent a fucking fortune on this watch, thinking I'm going to totally impress her. And she, I mean, well, you ever see those epic failure things when the guy goes to propose and she says no?
Yes.
Well,
of course, God, it hurts me every time.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a proposal situation, but it was one where I gave her it thinking, again, I oversold it in my own mind. And when she opened it up, she just froze and said, I can't accept this. I'm like,
oh,
well,
God.
what? I mean, total boner killer right there. I mean, that was it. Like,
for sure.
She goes, oh my God, I can't accept this. And that was it. Done. And she just she like handed it back, and then it was, and from there it was
Tony.
it was done. Done. Okay, good news is I got all my money back.
Oh, okay. So that's a plus.
And so I could pay rent that month, which is good.
And you know what? Kudos to her for recognizing that it was too much for where things were at and not just taking it and running.
Exactly. And I have to give her credit for that. So those were my
That's cool.
Right, those are my, and I only have one. I've got one I received, the best gift I ever received.
I can't wait.
And I actually get this every single year, and of course it's from Rachel, my daughter. And we have a tradition where for birthdays and Father's Day and not for Christmas, birthdays and Father's Day, she gets this, you know, that poster board, that big ass poster board She'll get that, and she'll fold it. She'll fold that in half, and then she'll make a big card out of it. And she'll put pictures in there and weird stuff in there. And every single year I'll get, one for birthday, one for Father's Day. And it's the coolest gift ever. Because and she writes like personal things about thanks for being there and thanks for supporting, all that kind of stuff. See, that's like the best gift ever.
That's amazing.
And it costs what? $2 for the poster board and probably 8 cents for the whatever, cutting out the pictures and for the markers. But it's worth $1 million.
Oh.
And that's the best.
That's awesome.
So what's the best gift you ever got?
Oh, well, definitely from Chris, of course.
It doesn't have to be. I mean, he could be listening, and he would just have to accept the fact that he did not give you the best gift that you've ever gotten.
But he definitely has. So I'll give him that.
I just want, for the record, I just want to point out the fact that there was a long pause there.
I just really had to think about it. I was like, let's go back in time
fair enough.
Make sure. Wait, can I do a best gift from Chris and then a best gift from like somebody else?
Sure. Go ahead.
Can I have two?
You can.
Because it's very hard. You know what I mean?
I know it is. I know it's tough. So that's
things mean
that's perfectly fine. Exactly.
Okay. So my best gift from Chris, I would say, was when he surprised me and took me to see Celine Dion.
Oh boy, are you sure that's the best gift?
Now, I have a best gift and a most emotional gift. So that would be for sure the best gift, only because Celine Dion is such a staple of my childhood. I grew up listening to her. My very best friends and I spent hours upon hours listening to her in the basement, making up dance routines, singing to her songs in the car. She was with me at every pivotal moment in my younger years, right? Like
okay,
every
so that was
moment.
that was your person as you were growing up. Okay.
That was my person. Like to this day, there is no one that beats her, and I know some people will disagree, but I adore her. And so the minute I found out I was going, it was like I was in the middle of Disney World, and I wept the entire concert. And to this day, no one can compare to this woman. She is magnificent. So that was phenomenal. And he knows. God help him. He went and saw Celine Dion.
Oh, God. That poor bastard.
The poor bastard gave up an entire night in Vegas and surprised me to take me to this concert. I mean, he had to listen to ballad after ballad with me weeping beside him.
Right. Because he knows he knows how impactful it is to you.
He knows how much I love her.
Exactly.
He knows. And my second favorite gift from him, and then I'll move on to my other favorite gift of my whole life. My second favorite gift from him, and this one also made me cry and was probably almost even more emotional, was I had been really struggling after I moved from Boston. And I had moved to Indiana, and then I moved to Arizona, as you know. And when I was first living in Boston, when he met me, I was living on 11 Clarendon Avenue in Massachusetts, and I was living with my very favorite people in the world, right? Mm-hmm. So my whole heart was in this little tiny part of Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. And he had an artist create a bracelet for me with the exact coordinates of that house.
Oh, wow.
Street. And
I never knew that. That's cool.
It was amazing. And when I saw it, I just saw these numbers and these coordinates, and I was like, I don't know what that is. And he was like, that's 211 Clarendon Avenue. And so that was pretty fucking cool.
A perfect example of something that didn't even exist.
Didn't even exist.
Figured
out a way to make that happen.
And it was for the fact that he knew how important it was to you. He knew how impactful that would be, and he created that because of what you guys had chatted about, or what you inferred many times, I would assume, over the
many
times. The years that you were there. So that's brilliant. That's a brilliant gift.
It was brilliant. It was amazing. So he's bomb at giving gifts. So I will give him that, and those were two amazing ones. And now I will quickly move over and quickly tell you that my other very favorite gift, which made me cry as well, was when I finally graduated from nursing school, which was a million years in the making. My mom came to the pinning ceremony and gave me a necklace she had made of my grandmother, who is my favorite person on this planet, that died when I was 9, of the nursing pin she got when she graduated. She had it turned into a necklace. And I wore it every single day my very first year as a nurse on the floor.
Wow. See, that's super awesome.
Amazing.
Again.
It was amazing.
Right, that's amazing. So if everyone has the ability to do this, if they just pay attention a little bit, if they just look in the past and kind of put some things together, if they just are a little more creative, that they will be able to put something together that's like that. And even if you're not in these situations, if you're not in a position where you want to go super deep emotionally to where you just absolutely hit every single level all the way down to the soft Cadbury smooth, gooey center of this person, even if that's not the case, you know how, if you do know the stories, you know how far you can go to get to where you want to be. So if you want to hit it to where oh, this guy could be a special guy, or oh, this girl really knows me, or she wants to know me. You can do that if you pay attention. That's the hallmark of a perfect gift. Paying attention to what's important to somebody in their life, paying attention to how they look to present things to other people and present them to them at the same time, paying attention to timing and what you know is good timing for them. Nighttime, daytime, spontaneous. Do they like surprises? Do they fucking hate surprises? If they hate surprises, don't plant some stupid ring in a cupcake dessert when you're out at the restaurant or something.
No, don't do that.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
If you don't have an idea in terms of if they like any of that stuff, then don't do it, because if you're a good person and you're with somebody for a while, or even for a little while, then you know to that level what you can get away with, I would hope. And that's really the key. The key of all of this is understanding and being aware and having the attention. I mean, that is the hallmark of a perfect gift, pure and simple.
I agree.
And there you have it. So, and there's the show. Wow. And this is actually
you're welcome, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Right, and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, or Happy Valentine's Day. Or God, or I don't know, Boxer Day if you're in Canada, or whatever. Like I said, we're listened to in like hundreds of different countries. So whatever holiday comes up, really that comes down to the point, and that's universal, absolutely universal to anybody that giving a gift at any particular time of the year. So we'll just sum that up. So. 42. I'm surprised that it's gone this long, but I guess we had something to say today.
We sure did.
So you can listen to this on iTunes, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. You can go to javabud.com, JAVABUD.com. That's where the podcast is posted, as well as the video. The video is only posted at JavaBud, or it's posted on JavaBud, the JavaBud on YouTube. It's also there. I have a YouTube channel. I use the YouTube channel just to post the videos, so it's not. I don't push it, but it's there if you want to see it, along with all the other videos. And Mariah has a Mango Makes 3. I am eagerly awaiting for her next well-written and crafted blog that I have not seen in a little bit.
Yeah, this week, Tony. This week.
Okay, this week. All right.
Yes.
All right. No pressure. No pressure.
No pressure, but this week.
No. Okay, good. All right. So it was great to see you. I hope Boston is treating you well as usual. And
yes, it sure is.
And from Boston and from beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona, United States of America, we're going to say goodbye, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Bye.
Bye.